Hello, welcome back to my DRF tutorial series. This is the second tutorial video. In this video, we will create our first API endpoint. Okay. In our previous video, we have created three model class. That is, one is for product, another one is order, and final one is order item. Okay, and also registered those model class in admin so that we can access that model class from the Django admin panel. Okay, so to do that, we can access those model class in our Django admin panel. So this is actually very basic insert, update, delete feature, but this is not our main goal. But before that, we need some data. Okay, so that's why we use actually Django admin panel to insert some data. I already inserted some data for the product and also order and also order item as well. So business logic we will discuss later. So our initial goal is create a API endpoint for the product only. Okay, after that we will create for order, then I will create for the order item. Now let's go back to our Django admin panel and insert a new product so that you understand why actually need that Django admin. Okay, let's create a new product called 3, new product 3. Some description of new product product 3, and put some price like, and it struck something like 4543, and I just attach a image. I just consider this is actually the product image. Okay, now save it. Okay, so we have 3 product. Now we will create our API endpoint, and that API endpoint also show these 3 product. Okay, after that we will work for order, and from here we also create new order, but this is not our objective. But wait a minute. Look, I have created an order class, and I also put a enum. That's okay, but the problem is I don't initiate the field. That's why that status field is not visible in Django admin panel. So let's create a status field first. Status is equal to models.charField max length. I put it 10 because here you say all are between the 10 character. Okay, now choice is equal to status choice dot choice, and default value I put status choice dot pending. Okay, fine. Our status field is added now we need to run our migrate command. So let's run our migrate command. Type python manage.py. First we need to run our make migration command. Make migrations. Okay, fine. Now we run our migrate command. Migrate. Okay, excellent. So migration is done. Let's start our server. Manage run server. Okay, refresh this browser first. Look here, the status field is coming here. Okay, our model class is now perfect. Okay, so now let's start building our API endpoint for the product. Let's close those tab first. Then our first thing is need to update this URL file. Okay, here my plan is to all the API endpoint URL will be handled separately. Okay, that's why I'm actually include a separate path for that. To do that, first import the include. Now type path API slash include. Now I'm actually include our new url.py files path api.urls. Okay, now we need to create a new urls.py file in our API directory. Okay, so let's create new urls.py file. urls.py. Okay, excellent. We copy those thing and paste it here. Remove the admin, then keep only path, and here I am going to import our views from dot import views. Just need to close this one. Okay, it will be replaced with our API view class. Before we start our API, let's check this URL is work or not. Okay, so go to the views.py file, then first import our HTTP response. To do that, from Django.http import HTTP response. I just import only HTTP response to check our URL configuration is okay or not. Okay, now let's define a function, call it product list, product underscore list, and pass the parameter name request. Okay, now return a statement HTTP response hello Tanvir. Okay, now go back to the urls.py file, and here I put the path name as product list or products. Yes, that sounds good. And add our views. Just now I added views. You can also put like views is equal to something views dot product list. This is also possible, and if you want to write this way, this is also possible. Okay, now let's save it. I forget a forward slash after the product. Now let's check products. Here you see there are only two URL. One is the admin and another one is API. Okay, so where it come from? This is come from the main url.py file. Look, this is actually the admin URL, and this is our API URL. We need to write this API in the URL. Okay, API, then slash, then products. Okay, look here, it's work. Hello Tanvir, it's work. Okay, so what I am doing, so first of all our project directory, there is a urls.py, and this url.py I define our API URL, and all the API will be belong to this urls.py. This URL file I just created under this API directory. That's why I am putting this first of all API.url. This include function actually drive it to the API directory first, then search that url.py file. So here actually two URL file. One is the project URL file, another one is our app URL file. Here app name is API. Okay, just keep in your mind here there are two URL. One is our project URL. This is under the backend directory, and another one is our app URL. This is under API directory. Okay, project URL the py file, I just include that location where my app URL is located. Okay, this is it. So let's close our project URL .py file. So now we don't need to work here anymore. Now we are going to build our first API. In this stage, I want to suggest you, please go through this documentation, API guideline. So it will give you more details information. We are going to start our API for product. Okay, so before that we need to create a serializer. Okay, so to do that we need to create a new file, that is the serializer.py file. What actually do this serializer actually the responsible to generate the JSON file from the query set. Serializer actually the responsible to convert that data to the JSON format. Okay, and the same way if any data need to store in our database, then the serializer is very smart enough to deserialize it, perform for the store the data in the database. Okay, so hope you understand the basic thing of serializer. In our previous video I already created the model class. Okay, so what actually model class do, the serializer also do something similar like that model class. Okay, but it's not actually the model class. Okay, this serializer actually main responsibility is to convert our query data set to the JSON data. Okay, and also responsible to deserialize the data. Okay, let's create our serializer for our product. So to do that, first of all we need to import serializer library from REST framework. Import serializer. Now import our model class, what we have created in our last video. From .model import product first, product order, then order item. Nice. Now create a class, name it product serializer. Product serializer, and pass the parameter serializer dot model serializer. Okay, nice. Now I'm actually initiate a meta class meta model is equal to product model, right? Product. Okay, now we need to define the which field we need to consider to present our API endpoint. Okay, let's define our fields. Yes, fields is equal to, and this is, let's open our model class and check our, okay, we consider the name first. Okay, then description, then price, then stock, and finally image. Right now we don't consider the image. Okay, we'll consider it later. Now I need to add a validator for the price. Okay, define a function, and name it validate price, then pass the parameter as self and value. Okay, Now I'm going to implement a very basic logic, that is, if the value is less than equal to 0, then what? Then raise a validation error, raise serializer that validation error. What error? Like price must be greater than 0. Okay, if everything is okay, then just return the value. That's it. Now let's go back to our view class, that is the view.py file. Before you start coding in view.py file, you already understand the serializer actually the main responsible to serialize the query data to JSON data and deserialize it JSON data to query data. Okay, so in our view.py file, this file actually represent our API endpoint. Okay, so to do that, first we need to import some libraries like JSON response. Okay, because in our browser we want to show our product list as a JSON format. Okay, so first import from Django HTTP import JSON response, then import our serializers from API. This is our app directory, serializer import product serializer, right? Yes. Now we also need to import our model, that is the product model, from API dot model import product. Okay, so in this view class, initially I am going to share you the function based view. Later I will show you the class based view. Okay, most of the professionals actually use that class based view. Okay, but right now I am going to show you the function based view. Now let's remove this line, and first we create our query set for the products is equal to product dot object dot ob. Okay, now serializer, which serializer? This is the product serializer, right? Product serializer, then pass this query set. So here our query set name is products. Okay, now here is the most important thing. In this object there will be multiple product info, right? Now we need to add a new property, that is the many is equal to true. Okay, why I actually put many is equal to true? Because I know this query set actually return multiple object, but if this query set actually return a single object, then you don't need to add this parameter as many is equal to true. Clear? I hope it clear now. Now we return our JSON response. What we actually return? Data. That is actually the key, and value will be serializer dot data. Okay, nice. So let's check our data is coming or not. The field option must be list of tuple. Okay, I understand. Look, in our serializer, this is actually the tuple. Okay, so we need to replace this thing with the first bracket. Yeah. So I was use actually the curly braces. So uh, it should be the first bracket. Okay, not curly braces. Now save it and check. I hope now it's okay. Refresh this URL. Yeah. Our record and data is coming here. Look, our name is product one, description, some description of product one, and our last product was new product 3, right? We actually add this product, the new product 3. Okay, and description was some description of new product 3, and the price was 343, and the stock was 4542. Yes, this one. Let's check our admin. To do that, just type admin, go and check our last entry product. Look, this product actually shows in our API endpoint. Okay, API endpoint. Yeah. Look, this one. Nice. So this is our first API endpoint. Now, now it's look better. Here I am actually presenting name, description, price, and stock. If you want to control the field level, so like I want to remove this description field. So it's very easy. Just go to the serializers.py file and remove this field and reload the server. And now refresh the browser. Okay, now look, now description field is gone. So that you can control whatever field you want to show, or whatever the field you want to remove. Okay, so we have completed our first API endpoint, but this is not the professional way. So this is just the beginning. Okay, now we are going to update our view.py file. Now I'm going to implement a decorator. That decorator name is API view decorator. So let's go back to the code editor. And just very little modifications. Okay. Now you can say we step forward to introduce some professional way of API development. Okay. So let's introduce our new decorator, that is the API view decorator. So first we need to import a library, that is REST framework, the decorator, import API view, API underscore view. Okay. So just add the decorator here, API view, and in this time pass the parameter called get. We actually use the get method because we actually retrieve all the product list here. Okay, and we just modify the return statement. Here we actually return the response. Before that, we want to import a response library here. Let's import it from REST framework response, import response, and pass the serializer dot data. That's it. Now save this file and reload the server, and let's check now. Yeah. Wow. Look, this is actually the browsable API view. Okay. And we actually retrieved all the product information, and here I actually show the product name, price, and stock. Okay, and there are only 3 products actually available here. And though it is actually the get method I actually use, that's why it shows the get method. So let's recap what we actually did so far. So first we actually create a product model class here, and in this product model class we actually declare name, description, price, stock, and image. I also use a very basic logic here, and after that I registered all the model in the admin file, and after that I actually create a super class for the admin panel access. And then to create our APIs, first we actually create a serializer, and there I declare a product serializer class, and here I mention which field I want to show in our API endpoint. Okay, and here I also implement a very basic business logic here. In my next video you will see this logic implementation. And then I actually create a view file, and in this view file initially I'm actually here I'm using the function based view, and later I will show you the class based view. Okay, and also in the URL the py file I declare a new path. This is actually the API endpoint. In the API endpoint, whenever you go to this path, then the API view will be shows like this way. Okay, now I want to see the single product details information. So to do that, if I pass the product primary key, example I just pass the 1 as a primary key, then you see the page not found. This is the 404. Let's create our product detail page. Okay, back to our code editor. Our first task is declare of a new path. To do that, I just copy this line and paste it, and here I actually pass the primary key here. Okay, int pk, and I just create a new view, that is the product details. Yeah, just let's create the new function product underscore details in view file. Just copy this code base and paste it here. When you actually retrieve the all product list or any specific product information, those are actually get method. Okay, so now I am actually change the function name as I declared in URL file, product underscore details. Now I need to import the Django shortcut. So let's remove this JSON response library and Django the shortcut import get list or 404. Okay, now let's change something in product underscore details function. First of all, we need to pass our primary ID. So to do that, after request, put the comma and pass the primary key as a parameter. And in product, though here I am not going to show all the product information. I am actually going to show specific product information. That's why this query actually need to update. Product is equal to get list or 404. Now we need to pass our product model class. So pass the product model, pass the product, and look up for the primary key. Okay, pk is equal to pk. Okay, and in the serializer, I'm going to pass this product, and though it is actually written a single object, that's why you don't need to maintain this main is equal to true. Okay, now save this file, and also I need to save this URL file as well, and don't forget to put the comma. One thing I need to show you, in our product list API endpoint, we need to show the ID. Okay, So let's add our ID. Here I bring my ID field. Okay, let's check now. Reload the server. Yeah, now my ID field is visible here. Okay, so let's check our product details. So we want to see the ID number 1. So just pass the primary key, that is the 1. Oh, I get an error. The original list. Okay, I got the error. I made a mistake. Very simple mistake. It should be get object, not list. Let's get object or 404. Similarly, let's change this line, object 404. Okay, now hope it's now okay. Refresh the browser. Yeah, great. Here you see I retrieved only one product, and this product ID is 1. And as you see, I pass the primary key as 1, and if I pass primary key as 2, then it will show the product 2. If I pass the primary key 3, it will show new product 3. So that's it for now. Now let's recap the whole thing, what we have did. First of all, I actually add the ID field to see the which ID actually belong to which product. Then I actually create a new function, that is the product details, and here I actually pass the primary key, and I just change the query set. And the difference is, if you go through the product list function, there I actually bring all the product information in a query set. Okay, but when I actually want to show the product details for a specific product, that's why I actually pass the primary key first, then I update the query set. That is here I actually use the get object method, get object or 404 method, and here I bring the product model and pass the primary key, and rest of the thing is similar thing. Okay, and another most important thing is here in this serializer, I actually use the main is equal to true, because here all the product information actually bring together in a list view. That's why there are lots of object will be come here, but here it will not bring multiple object. It will bring only single object and a specific object. That's why I don't want to use main is equal to true. So after that, then I add a path where I actually pass the primary key, pass the ID of a specific product, then the specific product details are bring here. In this way, I am actually show all the product information, that is in a product list API endpoint. When you want to see the specific product information, then I just pass the primary key. Here primary key is 2. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial series, and I hope we will see you in our next video. And stay connected with me. Thank you.